Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. We are going to end this night off with Dogman and cryptids are some of my favorite things to discuss, but I really have a passion about D.U.M.s and the military and their secrets. And that's what we're going to end tonight off with. Before we get into it, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership are in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost you a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things, they really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, folks, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into this night-ending bonus, shall we? The thumbnail that you guys are looking at is hot sites in the United States. Going east to west, you've got Montauk in New York. You have the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Then we keep moving. You've got Roswell, Teos, Los Alamos, Dulce, Creed, White Sands, Michaels Air Force Base, Area 51. Arizona, the Hopi Indian Reservation is a huge hotspot. You've got Nellis Air Force Base, Edwards, Mount Shasta, just to name a few. But I kind of wanted to use that as the thumbnail so you guys can really see the hot zones in America. You get a better view if you watch the video on your computer, or at least look at the thumbnail on your computer. But it's a very interesting little map. So on July 13th, the New York Times ran a story about CIA running an assassination squad using United States military special forces against foreign terrorists without congressional approval on the orders of former Vice President Dick Cheney. The Times story confirmed claims by Seymour Hersh in March of 2009 that an assassination squad had been created and reported directly to Cheney using special force personnel. The covert CIA project was shut down by CIA Director Leon Panetta when he learned of it on June 23rd. Details of the project were passed on the next day to the U.S. Congress and led to furor over the reports. A statement by 7 members of the House Intelligence Committee concerning the CIA misleading Congress was subsequently released. The covert CIA program allegedly began in 2001, soon after the 9/11 attacks. The unfolding revelations of the CIA death squads using United States military special force personnel coincides with the online release of video testimony of the former United States Navy SEAL, who said he was recruited to perform 18 assassination assignments for the CIA. If true, the SEAL's testimony reveals that covert assassinations predate the 9/11 attacks and also targeted U.S. citizens. Curiously, the assassinations were related to covert projects Dick Cheney was allegedly involved in when he was Secretary of Defense for George H.W. Bush from 89 to 93. Connor O'Ryan was a pseudonym used by Derek Hennessy, who claims in video testimony recorded in 1991 that he performed covert missions for the CIA in the 80s, assassinating enemies of the states. After joining the United States Navy in the early 80s, Ryan/Hennessy claims he had joined the elite SEALs and was eventually tasked to perform his covert assassination missions. He said the targets of assassination hits even included United States citizens. He described his 18th and final mission as a sergeant for the United States Army Green Beret stationed at the U.S. Embassy in Budapest, Hungary. O'Ryan/Hennessy's extraordinary claims were investigated over a 10-year period by retired Lieutenant Colonel with the U.S. Air Force, Wendell Stevens. During his investigation, Stevens was able to confirm Hennessy's military ID and that he was assigned to the CIA performing covert missions. Concerned that O'Ryan/Hennessy may have been a part of the intelligence operation to discredit him, Stevens did not release the initial results of his investigation until 2001. Video testimony of O'Ryan/Hennessy is included in a set of interviews conducted with Stevens, currently being released on the internet. In the interviews, Stevens discusses documents he had in his possession verifying Hennessy's covert CIA missions. One document was apparently written on CIA letterhead with the instructions for O'Ryan/Hennessy on his last mission. Stevens read aloud the document contents as follows. You are to report to the American Embassy in Budapest, Hungary. You will be received by S.A. Greywolf. As a unit, you will proceed to terminate an ex-SA, David T. Johnson. According to Stevens, the document was O'Ryan/Hennessy's final hit order, 1 month before he left his final assignment at a secret facility in Nevada. Another document is O'Ryan/Hennessy's W-2 salary statement that showed he was earning $74,000 for the CIA. Though only a sergeant, he was earning the equivalent of a colonel's salary at the time. Stevens was able to confirm that the serial number and code word on the W-2 were active through an anonymous FBI source. On the video, Stevens mistakenly refers to the salary statement as a W-4, but a copy of the W-2 is clearly shown. Combined with O'Ryan/Hennessy's recorded video testimony, the documents, if genuine, would be a smoking gun evidence that CIA assassination squads were using U.S. military personnel predating 2001, and even targeted United States citizens. To date, neither of the documents have been released to the public. Only video images are available. Independent document authentication still has to be conducted. The confirmation of the W-2 by an anonymous FBI contact of Stevens is powerful support for the legitimacy of O'Ryan/Hennessy's story. There is good reason, however, to be skeptical about the CIA hit order documents. It is difficult to accept that the CIA would be so explicit in putting it on CIA stationery orders to terminate a serving United States military non-commissioned officer. One could reasonably argue that such orders, if put on paper, would be done in a more cryptic manner without the CIA logo. This would be consistent with the assassination directive that former CIA Director Alan Dulles alleged drafted in '61 and was later authorized by a group responsible for covert operations called Majestic 12. The alleged Dulles assassination directive used the cryptic phrase, "It should be wet," as a code word for assassinations designed to protect Majestic 12 operations. If indeed there has been a CIA assassination program that predates 2001, it may originate from Dulles' '61 draft assassination directive. The directive was allegedly received by the chief of CIA counterintelligence, Jason Jesus Angleton, in 1961, and subsequently linked to the President Kennedy's assassination. If Orion/Hennessy did eliminate a serving Green Beret in Budapest in 91, as he claims, then the authority for such an assassination may derive from Dole's 1961 draft assassination directive. If Orion/Hennessy's CIA hit order letter is a hoax, that raises an equally perplexing question. Why would Wendell Stevens, a longtime researcher of UFO phenomenon, be targeted in an elaborate intelligence operation to discredit him with a story about CIA assassinations using elite military special force personnel in 1991? Orion/Hennessy spent an extended period hiding with Stevens and associates while allegedly on the run. During this time, a series of events occurred that persuaded those giving shelter to Orion/Hennessy that he was genuinely being monitored and threatened to return voluntarily to his program. Eventually, Orion/Hennessy disappeared and has never been heard from again. If Orion/Hennessy's testimony is even partially correct, as Stevens confirmed of his W-2 suggests, it would confirm the existence of an assassination team run by the CIA prior to 2001. His testimony reveals that even U.S. citizens were eliminated due to agendas of a highly classified covert operation run out of the CIA. Orion/Hennessy himself apparently became a target when he shared his information with Stevens, and this may have been related to his disappearance. For the last 9 months of his military service during his final assassination missions, Hennessy was assigned to a covert facility in Nevada called S4 to perform sentry duty for a highly classified covert project. It was there that he witnessed Dick Cheney arrive one day for an inspection of the project, maintaining the secrecy of which was related to his earlier assassination missions. Cheney taken inside S4 to view flying saucers and EBE bodies. Around April of 91, Dick Cheney was taken inside a secret underground facility located in a remote area of Nevada adjacent to Nellis Air Force Base to view captured flying saucers and dead extraterrestrial bodies. The startling claims were made by a former security guard at the facility who in October of 91 gave his testimony on video. The guard had documents and photos supporting his claims of working on that secret facility called S4. That guard, Derek Hennessy, used the pseudonym Connor Orion in giving his testimony in a set of interviews with Lieutenant Colonel Wendell Stevens, U.S. Air Force retired, and his associate, Jem Cox. Orion Hennessy claims he had worked for 8 to 9 years as a SEAL and performed various covert operations. He said that 18 of these missions were assassinations sanctioned by the CIA or other agencies. During the last 9 months of his military service in 91, he worked at the remote S4 facility, which had stringent security procedures. It appeared that the isolation and security of S4 helped assassins hide the trail of their mission. Orion/Hennessy described his work on the second level of the S4 facility. S4 employed approximately 75 personnel on levels 1 and 2. He said he was aware of further 2 levels of the facility, but was never allowed to enter level 3 and 4. He said that approximately 12 to 15 personnel worked at levels 3 and 4. His primary duty was to guard the elevators to them, which required 3 keys, a thumbprint, and a retinal scan to open. Orion/Hennessy described the hangar facilities on level 2 for storing the 7 flying saucers retrieved from various crash sites. There was 10 hangar bays in total. The facility was described as the museum, suggesting it was designed to store advanced extraterrestrial technology that had been superseded. He revealed how 1 or more of the flying saucers would be raised to the surface for a flight test. This would only occur when no Russian or other spy satellites were passing overhead. All testing would stop when satellites were detected. He also described 7 tubes with bodies of extraterrestrial biological entities, EBEs, technically described as grays. A biologist would regularly check the fluids to maintain the right temperature and fluid mix to maintain the bodies. In addition to the photos he showed the 2 witnesses, Orion/Hennessy drew pictures in his taped interview describing the facilities. Orion/Hennessy described the day Cheney visited as around the time when the United States was closing military bases at the end of the Cold War. Cheney was accompanied by 3 other officials and escorted by 2 base security personnel. He said Cheney only visited the first 2 levels of the S4 facility and saw both the flying saucers and bodies of the dead extraterrestrials. Orion/Hennessy states, "I was on level 2 at the time of his visit, and I watched him go in, and he went into the back building, and we were called up to guard the front of the hangar area. He saw the bodies as well, the 7 little gray people." A supercomputer and photo analysis expert, Jim Del Testo, allowed Ryan/Hennessy to stay at his property for a month. DeSetto said Orion/Hennessy showed him both and Jem Cox photographs allegedly taken at S4. He saw photos of what appeared to be extraterrestrial vehicles and extraterrestrial bodies in glass tubes. He also saw a photo with Dick Cheney standing on a balcony, allegedly inside the S4 facility, viewing the area below the flying saucers and bodies, while Orion/Hennessy was allegedly on duty. Saldo also recognized former director of the National Security Agency, Admiral Bobby Ray Inman, U.S. Navy retired, as one of the officials in the photo with Cheney. How credible is Orion/Hennessy's testimony? The most significant documentary evidence is the W-2 obtained by Stevens. The control number 45851, employer identification number 95/6593572, and employer's state ID 246442-3P were checked and confirmed by Stevens' FBI contact. According to the FBI contact, Orion/Hennessy had been deprogrammed and reprogrammed after being taken back into covert programs by the CIA and naval intelligence on various covert assignments. The W-2 and numbers can be investigated for independent confirmation. Furthermore, Orion/Hennessy revealed many details in his video testimony to Wendell and Jem Cox about his background and events that can also be investigated for corroboration. Finally, Orion/Hennessy stayed for a month with a supercomputer and photo data analysis expert, Jim Del Testo, who along with Cox witnessed the photos and duty roster that Orion/Hennessy showed him. Del Testo also described a bizarre incident that changed his initial skepticism towards Orion/Hennessy's amazing story. Returning from a 91 Thanksgiving party that Orion/Hennessy attended, Del Testo found a package at the inside front gate of his ranch. Thinking it was for him, Del Testo took it. When it was later opened, a severed finger was found along with a threatening note directed at Orion/Hennessy to return photos and other evidence of S4. Together with other strange episodes indicating close surveillance by a mysterious group of people, Del Testo decided it was time for Orion/Hennessy to leave. Orion/Hennessy says he decided to come forward after he was told that he had contracted a form of Hodgkin's lymphoma disease, being 29 at the time and in good health with no history of the disease in his family. He suspected that he was being set up for elimination. In retaliation, he decided to become a whistleblower and release photographs taken at S4. Orion/Hennessy's remarkable testimony, if substantiated, clearly reveals that Richard Cheney
while Secretary of Defense had directly witnessed S4 and covert programs involving extraterrestrial life and technology. That may explain why George Bush deferred to Cheney during the 2000 presidential campaign on a question concerning when UFO information would be released. It will be the first thing he, pointing to Cheney, will do. He'll get right on it. Alas, after tumultuous 8 years of Vice President Cheney never chose to disclose anything about his alleged visit to S4, the knowledge of extraterrestrial life and technology. Well, you know what that says to me? That says Orion/Hennessy more than likely was telling the truth. And that these secret CIA assassination teams were who killed Phil Schneider and William Cooper. We all knew that anyway, didn't we? But to protect the secrets of something that we already know about anyway. I mean, think about it. I was young when I found out about Area 51. I think my dad told me. My dad was in the Navy for a long time. And he had told me a story about guarding a hangar one night. And there was some sort of glowing coming out of that hangar. Immediately after the glowing was seen and reported, the hangar door was closed. It's pretty weird.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me on this night-ending bonus upload. Your support is what makes this channel honestly so special and what continues to make it grow and go. Please, everyone, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant. Keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there. They are dangerous. Share a little bit of information, the same info we share here with each other on a daily basis with the people you love and care about. It may just save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop pushing, and God bless.